I want to expand on this because for most people, when they feel the discomfort, right, when they actually feel that this is going to be hard, that's when they bounce, right? That's when they quit. That's when they believe that their partner isn't their one. First, let's talk about this idea of the one, and I know I've written about it, but just quickly, the one is the one that you choose to love today. There is no such thing as this one person you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life. I think it's romantic. I'm a hopeless romantic. I love that idea, but it's also been programmed to us by romantic comedies and Disney movies and the 50s and all of that, right? So the one is the one that you choose to love, period. Stop looking for the one. It's an excuse to get out of something because you don't want to put in the work. The work of loving comes when it gets difficult, because you know the honeymoon stage, the sparks from discovering a new person, a new mindset, a new body, the process of exploring someone brand new, that is, although exciting and lots of dopamine, it's also temporary because that's not sustainable, and that alone doesn't build a relationship. What builds a relationship is when shit gets difficult, when shit comes up, when you have to sort out what is yours and what is theirs, right? Exploring attachment styles, how you love and why you love like that. Are you a runner? And if so, why? What are your triggers? How you respond or react, right? Love means exploring each other's stories, right? Love means peeling layers. And that is hard to do. And for many people, we don't even get that far, because when things get uncomfortable and we start seeing the things that we don't like in someone, whether it's their action, their words, their behavior, or even if it's something like their dirty socks on the floor, I don't know. But then we start to question, we start to drift, and we start to, especially today with swipe culture, we start to look elsewhere, or if we're not looking, we are emotionally disconnecting and questioning. And if we continue to do that, the only thing that's going to change our faces, meaning you're just gonna date and get to know someone only to a certain extent, and then you're on to the next because of this block and because of this fear. And if you do that, you're actually not giving yourself the tools to love deeper so you can have that experience that you want, right? So you're not going to hit the high notes of love because you're not training your brain and your emotional intelligence and all of that. You're not looking at or doing, in my business it's called the work. So you actually don't have tools. And so what you do is you bounce around a lot. You get into a lot of almost relationships. And then you start to not believe in love. You start to form a lot of beliefs that are not true about yourself, about other people, right? And that becomes a pattern. And then you buy a lot of cats. I don't know. If you have a cat, I'm just joking. Okay, listen. If you have a cat, I'm just joking. If you have 9 cats, I'm kind of not. Okay, so the work means love starts when things get difficult. You have a choice to either look inward or to blame. Many blame, and that puts you back into that pattern where there's no growth. If you decide to look inward, if you decide to take ownership, if you decide to put ego aside, and listen, it's hard for me. Just because I say this shit doesn't mean that it's easy. It's really hard to do, and that's why relationships are so hard, right? So if you decide to do that, if you decide to go down that new path, make a right instead of a left at this fork, now you're creating something new. Now you're expanding. Now you're acquiring tools that you didn't have before, right? Learning about yourself. Now you're responding instead of reacting. Now you're trying to understand before trying to be understood. You're doing a lot of things differently. And you're not doing this for your partner, you're doing this for yourself. And you're doing this for yourself, not just for this relationship, but for you and your life and for the dent you're going to make. You as a human being and everyone that you're going to impact, whether it's your children or your friends or your family, right? It's not just about this relationship. You're using this relationship, you're using love as a vehicle to grow. All of that requires work. All of that means that you have to sort out your own shit, go see a therapist, read self-betterment books, all of that stuff. But here's the thing, what of value, right, is easy. Because if you want to live in easy, if you only want to do what feels good, you're never going to experience the high notes of love. Instead, you will experience infatuation, you will experience lust, you will experience skin and dopamine and all of that. But you're not going to hit the kind of love that you, I'm assuming, are looking for, which is healthy and sustainable. You're not going to get to know someone on a soul deep level, and most importantly, you yourself, you're not going to grow and evolve.